Are listening to TurboCharge Your Business on the number one global business talk and news network on the internet, IBGR, International Business Growth Radio, the world of business at your fingertips. A big thank you to today's show sponsor, TurboExecs. At TurboExecs, we reveal the story behind the numbers by providing the tools, systems, and expertise for professional service businesses and nonprofit organizations doing over $2 million in revenue to grow with complete confidence. Learn more at turboexecs.com. Hey there, you're listening to TurboCharge Your Business, a show for business owners who are tired of just working in the nuts and bolts of their businesses and ready to work on the business itself from a big picture, growth oriented, strategic perspective. I'm your host, Patty Lawrence, founder of TurboExecs, Money Finder, consulting CFO, and right hand to growth minded CEOs. This season is called 13 Weeks to Financial Literacy. And over the course of the season, I'm teaching you everything you need to know to take your business from confused and chaotic to strategically growing with you in the driver's seat. From people planning to cash flow planning to performance measures and more, it all starts with understanding the story behind your numbers. So let's dive in. This is episode 17, People Planning, Roles. Be sure to go to our website at ibgr.network and download the show notes. Today's show is all about the individuals and relationships you need in your business. By the end of our time together, you will gain insight into what you need on the people side of your business as you grow. So we're going to talk today about roles. So, what are roles and why do they matter in my business? Well, first of all, you really need to have great people inside your company and outside your company. Your company is dependent on people. It's people driven, whether you have employees, you have contractors fulfilling duties and responsibilities in your organization. You also have clients. They're people, right? They're humans out there. And your community. Your community is also made up of people, humans. So why is that really important? Well, it's important to manage the relationships. Relationships are the fabric that knits all of us humans together. So what best we need to do, the best thing that we need to do is we want to, as owners, be happy, right? We want to be happy, but we also want our people to be happy and we want them engaged because happy, engaged people are way more productive. And it doesn't just apply inside the company, it applies outside the company. You want your clients to be engaged, your customers to be engaged, your community to be engaged, your stakeholders to be engaged. Everyone needs to be engaged because that means we have alignment. When we have alignment, we get there faster. Alignment equals velocity. You've heard me talk about that before. So all of those different pieces of the puzzle, team, clients, stakeholders, and community, are all critical to the success of our companies, right? And what we need to ask ourselves as it relates to people day in and day out. Would you rehire, in air quotes, rehire those people into your company? Or would you rehire that client? These are important questions that we need to be asking ourselves. And if we say no, then we need to determine why. Why is it that we wouldn't ask that client to come back? Why is it we wouldn't rehire that team member? Why is it that we wouldn't engage again with a vendor or another stakeholder or someone out in the community to support us? We need to understand those types of things. And what I'd like to do in diving into this topic is to look to, again, and reference scaling up. Vern Harnish's Scaling Up, and pull in some of the concepts from the people section. So when we look at roles, we're going to examine a few things. We're going to examine dynamics, functions, and processes, right? And the first area that we're going to look at in our roles is leaders in our company. So the leaders in our companies are required over time to grow and evolve in our skill set, in our maturity. As our business grows, we need to grow. If we don't, then what we're going to be doing is a detriment to our companies. We're not going to be able to keep up. We're not going to be able to evolve. We're not going to be able to transition. We're not going to be able to exit. It will prevent us from doing some of the things that we want to do and want to achieve, and the successes that we're looking for. And a few things that leaders have, they function in their environment, are accountability, responsibility, and authority. So as leaders, accountability is really the one person who is tracking and in charge of progress in the company. So there can only be one accountable. You can't have two people accountable, because you'll both be staring at each other going, it's you or it's me or you. There will be confusion. And then nobody will be accountable. If you have more than one person accountable, then nobody's accountable. And you've probably heard that. Then you have responsibility. So responsibility is anyone who has the ability to respond in support of something. So responsibility, you can have more than one person responsible. You can have a team of people responsible. And then there's a person who is accountable. One person, team leader, the owner, whatever that is, they can be separate. Then you have authority. So what is that leadership trait? What is authority? Well, authority is the person or team, right? You can have a team with final decision-making power. Okay. So again, you don't want to be accountable without authority, right? Because sometimes that's it's kind of empty, right? You're being held accountable, but you don't have the authority to make the final decisions. Well, that's a recipe for disaster, right? That means things won't get done. That means that person is not empowered to make the final decision, but they're being held accountable. So you see how all of those dynamics work together. One of the tools that I would say that you can use is go out to the internet and search for a function accountability chart. Because what you do is you need to take inventory of all of the functions in your company, the functions that your company requires, that needs. You'll go through, list all of those. Then the second piece is attach names to that. Names of people in your company who perform those functions. Then you'll want to attach KPIs or measures that you are going to hold them accountable for, right? How do you measure performance, their performance? Then you list the results and outcomes that are expected, that you're going to hold them accountable to, or for, I should say. Then look at that chart. Once you have all those four items completed, is there more than one person in a seat? Scan the list. Is there a person in more than one seat? Or are there empty seats? And the last thing that you want to scan that list for is, would you enthusiastically rehire each one of those people? So that's one thing that you can use to evaluate your roles and the folks that are in them in your organization. Quick little tool. The second area that we're going to look at as far as roles are concerned is team, right? You need a great team of people. You need great people on your team to provide the level of output, if you will, or production or customer service or whatever it is within your company. And the cost of hiring a wrong hire, it results in wasted time, wasted energy, and wasted resources, including money. So we have to be very, very careful on our hiring decisions. It's important to get that selection process right. And you hire for cultural fit. You hire for will. You hire for their values. You hire for results and skills in that order. It's very important. The third thing we're going to look at in terms of roles are coaches slash managers, but managers, we want to look at them as coaches. And it's for retaining, growing, and educating our team. So let's keep your team happy. And this is going to keep your team happy and engaged. And you want to make sure you're listening to these people because these people are on the front lines if you have a big team. And I would say five key concepts from Vern Harnish's Scaling Up as it relates to building team, is hire fewer people, but pay them more. And this is a countdown, 4, 3, 2, 1. The fourth item is give them recognition and show appreciation. You love your employees. You love your team. They get you farther faster. Number 3, set clear expectations and give the team a clear line of sight. Line of sight is how do they impact the KPIs and the measurements that are important to you. Give them that pathway. 2, don't demotivate, dehassle the environment. Make it easier for them to do their function. And then the last thing is to help people play to their strengths. That's what you want to make sure you do. That's important. And it's essential for you to help them recognize and play at their highest level, because that way your company is also going to play at the highest level. We're going to take a short 2-minute break. And when we return, we will be talking about succession planning. Hey, check out my collection of free resources at turboexecs.com/turbocharge. And you can continue the conversation with me, Patty Lawrence, on LinkedIn. You've been listening to Turbocharge Your Business and episode 17, People Planning.